Time to roll the dice. You know I'm the type to risk my life. Not afraid to die. Time to make you cry. Time to put a price all up on your head. Do just what I say. Now I'm straight up feeling, straight up feeling. Yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Straight up feeling, straight up feeling. Yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Like but I'm telling you.
So if Ben 10 and Monster X actually met each other, how would this go down here? Well, for starters, this really does depend on the situation, and we're going to really break it down here. So let's get the easiest one out the way. What if these two fought each other? Well, Monster X would decimate Ben 10 here. He wouldn't even move majority of the fight to even have to decimate Ben 10 here, because he bends the gravity and space-time around an opponent enough to reflect the opponent's attack back at them and make them eat their own attack here. Monster X can also drain the life force out of his opponents here, can simply use the gravity to crush around Ben's aliens, can even use, just a plethora of manipulations. The guy is Magneto, Martian Manhunter, and Black Adam all in one. All right, that's just how goated he is here. All right, he could absorb anything Ben throws at him. He could literally just deflect, could mind control some of Ben's aliens and have them just do weird stuff, just have them flop all around. He used telekinesis. He can use invisibility, intangibility. So yeah, Ben pretty much gets clocked. Even as Alien X, he would get clocked. All right. So how if these two actually met like in person, how would this go here? So I actually would have Monster X actually be a, again, I guess you could say, another powerful entity in the universe here. So powerful in fact that he guards another artifact as well. He guards an artifact of the Exilian Empire meant for conquering, the other half of the universe. Now, I say other half because they always say Ben 10 is the greatest hero in his universe, but he's never explored his universe fully. So what if he was just greater in half of the universe, and then there was someone else greater in the other half of the universe? Basically, let's say Enter Transil, which is the last planet they actually went to here, was the final point for both sides here. So was basically like that bridge between, like, hey, you go over here, you go to the other side of the universe, but if you want to dip back, to your side of the universe, you're fine. So let's say that's pretty much the conduit point here. I would say Monster X would be the Exilian Empire's, or at least that side of the universe's hero, doing probably some of the same things Ben has, except rewrite reality on the whim here. I would say, Monster X, while the universe is being destroyed, we actually see Monster X use space and time to actually block, the half of the universe that's actually getting hit here. And when he's trying to analyze what happened, boom, Ben fixes his side of the universe. Okay? So again, this would mean the Annihilar destroying the entire universe would be, would be true, but again, it was also stopped on one end while Ben recreated his half of the universe. Okay, so yeah, honestly, yeah, I think it's safe to say here that would be pretty established as a feat for Monster X here. Now, what about the artifact? An artifact made to conquer the entire universe. So I would actually have a new villain here. Not sure what I would name him, but just for the sake of simplicity here, we'll say it's Zamasu from Dragon Ball. I think that makes it short, sweet, and simple. So Zamasu will recruit some of Ben's villains. Dr. Psychobos, an easy one because he's one of the more intelligent villains out there. Albedo, simply put, it's basically evil Ben with the ultimate function. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Vilgax with malware combined. Okay, I think that would be pretty simple. Eon with a Maltruant upgrade. Okay, I do believe Maltruant was definitely more powerful than Eon when it came to time manipulation. But let's say he gets Maltruant's tech. Adds a Chronosapien type to him, and then bada bing, bada boom, he's got it. He's basically a Maltruant, and he's basically a Clockwork, or pretty much a Chronosapien version of Eon, Chrono Sapien armored Eon. Okay, and then we would also have Agrigor. I kind of feel like we should have known what happened to him, but definitely. Okay. So basically, these group of villains would definitely invade the Exilian Empire, and the Exilian Empire would be caught off guard here because they would have just been teleporting out of nowhere and would not be prepared here. Now, I would say, despite them being caught off guard, the Exilian Empire is so formidable that they actually begin to turn around the tides, turn around the tide very quickly here. And this is when Zamasu axes, Albedo if he has an Alien X in his Omnitrix, and Albedo would definitely go to use his Alien X, which is much more controlled here. And we could say Albedo finds a sorry, Albedo found a way to basically control his two bickering personalities or whatever, or they agree that Albedo just has the keys and they can just go argue in the corner. Same thing with Ben, just a much more evil purpose. So yeah, an evil version of Alien X begins to tear apart the Empire. That definitely gives them the edge here, and this is when Monster X pretty much shows up. Let's say he actually just comes, and probably probably like 5,000 light years away. Maybe he was in another galaxy. He just comes over at the drop of a dime immediately, and this is when he pretty much like speed blitzes Albedo's Alien X here and begins to put a massive beat down on him. Like it's like reflection of Gaara versus Rock Lee in the tuning exams. When Rock Lee actually opens the third and fourth gate, he just beats the mess out of Albedo. So yeah, basically like that, Monster X just beats the mess out of Albedo here. And this is when Zamasu basically uses Albedo getting pretty much ragdolled around here to make his way towards the artifact. Okay, so this is when we actually see Monster X fighting against a malware Vilgax in Ultimate Agrigor version 2, I might add. This is Agrigor with much more DNA than just Armadillo, Water Hazard, Energy, Terraspin, and Amphibian. Okay, so more than 5. Let's say I could actually say here he has probably like a couple more aliens. He's kind of like Kevin. If he does touch the Omnitrix, he should have all of Ben's aliens here. But yeah, I do believe that would be pretty interesting to add here. So this is when they pretty much actually, they help Albedo here. They're able to converge on Albedo here as the army needs to recover here. And they actually say let X handle it or let Keizer handle it just to, solidify. They have their faith in their hero, okay? So this is when Monster X actually begins to use the rest of his versatility and begins to absolutely dominate the other guys here. But he realizes that this is more of a distraction, and this is when, it's revealed that Zamasu actually does have this universal weapon, and he actually uses it as Monster X is about to blitz him and sends Monster X flying halfway across the universe. Monster X lands in Bellwood, okay? But he doesn't land anywhere where Ben would be able to get to in time. I would say Ben is probably off somewhere training with the rest, to master his aliens and unlock any new transformations he can get along the way. So he crash lands, and he crash lands in one of Julie's tennis games. Alright? So this is when we actually see an unconscious Monster X here, pretty much being dragged out by plumbers and Julie. Okay, Julie actually does help in this endeavor with ship here, and she's pretty much trying to help him the best he can here. She actually finds out his heart is stopping, slowing down due to her sensory with ship here, and she actually revives him. Monster X gets up and is literally about to use a gravity crush on her, to when he actually realizes like, oh, you did that. My apologies. So, Monster X is actually wondering where he is, and Julie explains that he's on Earth here. That, he's on Earth, and that, he took a pretty big hit here. You actually interrupted my tennis game, to which Monster X apologizes, and he actually does say that he must be on the other side of the universe. To which he actually explains to Julie, because she actually does get curious, that Monster X is pretty much his hero on his side of the universe, and he's actually wondering if the residential hero of this side of the universe is here. To which he says, "Oh, Ben, I don't know, but yeah, I think I know where to find him." So this is when Julie actually takes Keizer to Plumber HQ, right? And you know, he's introduced to Max Tennyson, or Rook in this situation, considering Max did say that Rook is the one that takes over as head of the plumbers here, and I think that would be a good start for Rook as pretty much head of the plumbers. If I didn't make this clear before here, this takes place after the series. So again, I hope you guys really enjoy this as much as I have. So yeah, this takes place after the series, where Rook was made I think like chief and commander, because yeah, he definitely earned it, in my opinion. He definitely earns it here. So this is when we actually see Monster X, identify with the rest of the plumbers, and some of the plumbers actually, are ecstatic. They're excited that someone from the hero from the other side of the universe just magically came and appeared here. Ben comes in and, is wondering what's going on here. He's like, the plumbers were never this ecstatic for him. And, Monster X introduces himself, and, Ben kind of, just, you know, um, gloats a little bit, like, Ben 10, savior of the universe. And this is when Monster X corrects him, you mean half the universe. And this is when Monster X actually, uses his telepathy to dig in Ben's mind to show him, what the Annihilog dig and what he was capable of doing here. To which Ben actually looks in shock and actually, gets a little disappointed, excuse me, that he didn't really, save the entire universe here. So again, a little Monster X and Ben 10 thing right there. So this is when, Monster X actually states here that he could use Ben's help here, to which he explains that a couple of his villains have pretty much got a weapon that could potentially destroy and remake the universe as they know it here. To which Ben says, why do they have something like that, and why do the plumbers know about it? And it's because the Exilian Empire really had no intention of using it. It was more or less a toy, and more or less a toy for war if they needed it. They actually focused it on conquering other planets and other worlds here. To which Ben actually just says he might be here to conquer his planet, and to which Monster X says he got blasted halfway across the universe just to, he didn't get blasted away halfway across the universe just to get accused of something he doesn't agree with. To which he and Ben actually get into a heated argument, which doesn't surprise, Gwen and Julie, because Ben's very hot-headed. Kevin tries to separate them, but Monster X actually tells him to unhand him and tosses Kevin aside, to which Ben actually goes into kicking Hawk and tries to wail on him, to which Monster X doesn't budge, and he flicks Ben, out of the building at pretty much before anyone even can even register Ben was even gone. Everyone puts that together, and then they're just looking at him like, geez, this dude is just immeasurably powerful. So this is when Monster X goes to talk to Ben, who's basically, hurting in a field here. And this is when Ben actually switches to Armadillo and tries to use an earthquake, to which Monster X again does not budge, and he uses his tail to wrap up Ben's arms and tell him not to move, to which Ben turns into energy and blasts him with nuclear energy, only for it to get absorbed, and for Monster X to blast it with his gravity beams, pulverizing Energy's armor into the ground here, okay? This is when Ben actually goes into forearms, to which that actually gets pimp smacked around like it's nothing. Gwen, Kevin, and Julie and Rook all come out to see what's happening, and they just see Ben getting humiliated, alien after alien, and it gets to Humongosaur, and, that gets, suplex, and then Ben uses Way Big, to which Monster X gives a devilish grin, actually saying a Tilku Star, one of his favorite punching bags, and this is when Ben absolutely gets dismantled as Way Big, to to which everyone looks in shock because, again, Weibig's never been slaughtered in combat. This is when Ben actually sees he has no choice and uses Alien X here. And the fight actually gets a lot more, I guess you could say, even on a physical standpoint. Ben does try to use some of his versatility, to which Monster X uses his and counters it. Ben tries that little cloning galaxy thing, but Monster X simply uses his space-time distortion and simply, reverses Ben's own attack onto him, causing it to implode and pretty much taking down the Alien X, which again cements, Monster X is a pretty dominant force in the Ben 10 universe here. So how do I think this would really go on here? I think he would actually tell Ben to stand down, but would be definitely out of breath, as he did just, recover from fighting a Celestial Sapien, taking his own weapon to the face and getting launched way half across the universe at billions of times the speed of light, and again fighting another Alien X here. So, yeah, I think I would leave it here with Ben actually standing down here and wondering if he's even, a match for this guy here. And this one, Monster X would extend his hand and says he came for his help and not for a confrontation. So this is where I would definitely leave it here, you guys. Let me know if you guys want a part 2 to if Ben 10 and Monster X met here. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and share with your friends. And I'll see you guys for the next video, which would be Keizer in Naruto. Peace.